All right, so in today's lesson, what you're doing is you're using the virtual lab from Pearson to check the chemistry of glow sticks. So our scenario is the school is having a virtual dance and you are in charge of organizing decorations. You have decided to put your chemistry knowledge to use to make glow sticks. Use the virtual lab guide, which is this one right here, and the instructions in the Pearson lab to help you find the best combination of chemicals to create a glow stick. So you're going to open up the virtual lab from Google Classroom, okay? And on this first screen here, you're going to notice a lot of different pieces of information. You can definitely look at what each of those tools mean. One of the things that we're going to have you do is that you're not actually going to record anything in the lab notebook. You are going to record everything on our Google Doc. Okay, so before you actually start the lab, you do need to go through the background information and answer these 3 questions. And then once you get to the procedure, you're going to go here and then you'll click Get Started. Okay, this is the same scenario that we've given you already. So then you'll click Next to get to the Investigate tab. So I'm going to move myself over here. There we go. On the Investigate tab, what you see is that these are the laboratory materials that you have here. Okay, each of the instruments, as well as the substances that you need, you can click on to find out more about each of them. So let's start by clicking on the test tubes. Okay, so these are test tubes. They're used to hold mix, or heat small amounts of liquids and solids during chemical reactions. This is where you are going to put all of your substances to actually do the chemical reaction. Then let's test substance A. So substance A is a clear liquid. It is used as a solvent for chemicals that do not dissolve in water. Something to note is that anything that has the eyedropper here, so substance A and substance D, are both liquids. Substances B, C, and D with the flat tops, the stoppers that are different, those are solids. It's a little hard to tell from here, but substance B is actually a white powder, and so is substance C, whereas substance E is orange. When you're recording your observations, please record both the physical and chemical properties that you can get from the information that it provides and from visually observing as well. So substance B is a base. It activates substance D and helps to decompose substance C. So you can write down things that it reacts with, potentially. Substance C, it releases carbon and energy when it reacts with an acid. So you can write down some of the chemical properties as well. Substance D is a weak acid. It has the ability to gain or donate electrons during a chemical reaction. So again, you can look at some of the chemical properties. And lastly, substance E. Substance E is a colored fluorescent dye. In a glow stick, the dye gains energy from chemical reactions between other substances in its vicinity, which means in its surroundings. Okay, the dye releases this energy in the form of light. This process is referred to as chemiluminescence. So once you've clicked on all your different substances, the scoopula or the spatula, the scoopula is what you're going to use to get any of the solid substances. Okay, so once you have observed those substances and you've recorded your observations, you're going to click the Next button right here to move on to the Analyze tab. Okay, so analyze. Use the materials and instruments to make the glowing liquid for glow sticks. There are 4 test tubes right here in blue. Okay, let's see if I can make myself a little smaller. There we go. There is also underneath here, there is a reset button that you can use if you need to put everything back to try testing again. Okay, each of these test tubes already has a solution of 10 milliliters of substance A and 100 milligrams of substance B. What you are going to do is you're going to add 2 of the other substances to test tubes 1, 2, and 3. So try different combinations, different pairings to see what happens. And then test tube 4, you're going to add all 3 of the substances, C, D, and E. You can click on any of the test tubes to view the molecular structure of the solution within it, as well as to see if there's been any heat produced, okay? Which could be important for your signs of chemical change. Okay, once you have mixed the substances, once you've added the substances, turn off the lights here to see if it glows. Okay, and then record your observations in table 2 right here. If you forget the instructions, they are on the Pearson lab, but we also have written them in your document for you as well. Another thing to note is that you do need to actually type in which 2 substances you mix together. So for the first one, let's do C and D. Okay, just go in alphabetical order. And then test tube 2, you could do C and E. And then test tube 3, D and E. You can mix them up in whatever order you want. All right, so we'll click on the test tubes to view the molecular structure to begin with of substances A and B mixed together. Okay, and then you can close that. Right now, you'll notice that before you add the other substances, you cannot turn on or off the lights. So let's click on substance C. To select a substance, you just click on it and it should select it. So now we've got a scupula full of substance C, and you can see it's a white powder. We are going to click on the scupula and drag it until we get to our test tube 1, which is going to light up in blue. So make sure that it is in blue before you release your mouse or your finger, okay? Just so that it actually goes to the place that you want. And it's going to show you the new chemical formula with everything in there. So add one more substance to this test tube to check if a reaction takes place. Before we do that though, turn off the lights. Do we have anything glowing? Yes or no? And then let's add substance D. So once again, I clicked on the bottle for substance D, and now I'm going to take the eyedropper and release it into test tube 1. And we're going to see the formula. So you can see that it's now C12H14O4, C2H3NaO2, C14H4Cl6O4, H2O2, and heat. Okay? And we're going to turn off the lights to see if anything happens. Write down anything that you do see happening, any observations that you make, even if you don't observe any change. Okay, so that is something important. You need to write down your observations, whether there is a change or not. So basically what you're going to do is you're going to keep doing that for test tubes 2 and 3 by mixing different substances. And then remember, for test tube 4, you need to put all 3 of those substances in. Once you finish that up, you're going to come back to the document and complete the analysis questions. If you have any questions, please see your teacher on Hangouts, or if they are still hosting a Zoom session, you can go back to that as well. Okay, that is it.